An ancient conspiracy to overthrow the Catholic Church has reached its final stage. With the disappearance of Pope Francis, hidden forces are preparing to transform the 2,000-year-old institution forever. Stay with us to understand the true scope of these events. On April 21, 2025, the world witnessed the end of a papacy that marked one of the most turbulent periods in the history of the Church. The departure of Pope Francis, celebrated by some as the closing of an era of openness, represents for others the final warning before the ultimate reckoning. Beyond the official mourning and the solemn ceremonies, a distant project is moving, germinating far from the spotlight in discreet Swiss salons and progressive circles. The strategy of those who have long conspired to dismantle the Catholic faith, not with obvious persecution, but by gradually eroding its foundations. Now, with the throne vacant, the real battlefield opens. The upcoming conclave might not just choose a successor, but the final executor of a meticulously crafted plan. This plan is designed to transform the Church into something only nominally Catholic. In the heart of Europe, shielded from prying eyes, a group of high-ranking church officials met annually in the Swiss city of San Gallo. This circle, known as the St. Gallen Mafia, included progressive bishops and cardinals who shared a reformist vision for the Church. Among the most well-known members were Cardinals Carlo Maria Martini, Gottfried Danneels, Walter Kasper, and Karl Lehmann. According to the revelations contained in Daniel's authorized biography, these meetings aimed to develop strategies to promote greater ecclesial collegiality, reduce Roman centralism, and address controversial issues like sexual morality and the role of women. The group also allegedly tried to influence the papal conclaves, opposing conservative candidates like Joseph Ratzinger and supporting progressive figures like Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Journalist Giulia Meloni, in her book, argues that this group played a key role in Pope Francis's election in 2013, promoting a reformist agenda that has deeply marked his papacy. Critics like Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano have denounced the influence of the St. Gallen Mafia, accusing them of orchestrating a plot to overthrow traditional doctrine. Cardinal Robert Sarah has also revealed the existence of a diabolical project designed to break with church tradition, especially attacking the traditional Mass. For him, this plan aims to erase the sense of the sacred, to drive the faithful away from true worship and reduce faith to a mere human expression lacking divine roots. The next conclave won't be just a papal election. It will represent the culmination of a project prepared over decades, a re-establishment of the Church desired by the promoters of the St. Gallen Mafia and their spiritual heirs. As Archbishop Vigano denounced, the deep church, the parallel church infiltrated by modernist currents, has worked incessantly to build a new religion, no longer founded on Christian redemption, but on a generic, universal philanthropy, a secular humanism disguised as charity. Cardinal Gerhard Müller has spoken openly about a great apostasy underway, highlighting how part of the current hierarchy seems oriented towards emptying Catholic doctrine to make it compatible with the globalist agenda. Not by chance, he recently openly evoked the specter of schism. According to increasingly persistent rumors, the favored candidates of this progressive movement are already lined up. Cardinals forged by the ideology of St. Gallen, able to speak the language of the world and accelerate the final collapse of the last doctrinal resistances. Their victory wouldn't just mean a simple change in style or pastoral approach. It would mark the end of the Church as we know it. A one-way trip to a post-Catholic structure, faithful no longer to Christ, but to the new dogmas of global humanitarianism. The most trustworthy sources, those not bound by political correctness, indicate that Cardinals Kasper, Tagl, Zuppi, and Hollerich embody the soul of this project. It's not about names, but about ideology. A pope who will see in the permanent synod the new model of church government, emptying the figure of the Vicar of Christ to replace it with that of a simple moderator among bishops who are increasingly autonomous and less tied to the truth. Archbishop Vigano has warned that the next pontiff could be the true Pope of humanity, no longer a successor of Peter, but a promoter of a humanitarian religion, willing to sacrifice dogmas on the altar of a new world fraternity. Cardinal Müller has spoken of a genetic mutation of the Church, a distorted, hybridized organism, unrecognizable. Under this pontificate, we would probably witness the formal approval of what is already being prepared. The blessing of irregular unions, the opening to female priesthood through the diaconate, the definitive abandonment of the evangelizing mission so as not to offend other religions, the transformation of parishes into social centers, the abandonment of the Roman liturgy to make room for new fluid and intercultural ritual forms. It will be a pope who will no longer distinguish between truth and error, between good and evil, but only between inclusive and exclusive, between modern and backward. And to do so, he will have to necessarily eliminate any last bastion of orthodoxy. The faithful seminaries will be persecuted, the traditional bishops marginalized, the faithful who wish to remain Catholic like their parents and the saints will have to live like fugitives in their own home. This, without divine intervention, is the future that awaits us. Not a new pope, but the final liquidator of a church that was the true bride of Christ. The new religion ready to invade the church will be a parody of the gospel, a toxic imitation of Christianity, built not on eternal salvation, but on earthly gratification, not on revealed truth, but on universal consensus. In this new temple, Christ will no longer be the king to worship, but the symbolic inspiration for a social cause. The liturgy will empty, dogma will bend, morality will dissolve into the indistinct, and we, heirs of tradition, will have only one alternative: to resist or to yield. To resist even at the cost of marginalization, isolation, persecution. Resist to protect what remains of the faith handed down by the martyrs, by the saints, by our fathers. Or succumb, surrendering to the global apostasy hidden behind the mask of mercy without truth. The imminent conclave will not simply choose a man. It will decree, without divine intervention, the fulfillment of a diabolical plan, or by mysterious grace, the beginning of an unexpected rebirth. The battle has begun. Let those who have ears listen. So, what did you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.